I do. So welcome everybody to today's Monday Fortuna Chamber Noon Zoom. I'm sorry if I keep looking over my shoulder and hearing barking, but I have a puppy right here. And today Jeremy's going to lead us in the pledge today. Thank you, Jeremy.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jeremy. Much appreciated. And do we have any new members or guests joining our call today?
Well, we have our guest, Sean Todd, who's our featured speaker.
Hi, Sean. Welcome.
Thank you.
Everybody else is, Laura Morris is kind of a new guest. I don't think she wants to say anything.
Okay, you can listen. Oh, Renee, you want to go ahead and give the announcements?
Sure. I have just a couple. Oops, let me let in some more people. So our airport is about to get really busy this summer. 3 airlines will soon be operating out of the airport, including American, United, and brand new, I think it's Avelo. Does anybody know how they pronounce it? Avelo Air? Avelo Air, thank you. So the Denver flights will resume on June 3rd. Phoenix flights will resume June 9th. And Avelo Air will debut flights to Hollywood Burbank Airport beginning May 29th. So expect to see lots of tourists this summer, hopefully. The Restaurant Revitalization Fund will soon be available to restaurants, bars, caterers, food trucks, wineries, bakeries, among others. Funding is up to $5 million per location with a minimum award of $1,000. We should have more information from the SBA soon. That should be launching within the next couple of weeks. The Shuttered Venue Operators Grant was launched on April 8th, I believe, but they hit a lot of technical difficulties, so they pulled the portal. Eligible applicants can apply for a grant equal to 45% of their gross earned revenue, not to exceed 10 million. Some of the eligible applicants include live venue operators, theaters, museums, aquariums, and live performing arts organizations. You do have to be registered through the SAM system, which is the System for Award Management. That's just through the federal government. You can go to sam.gov for more information on how to register, but that you need to have done before you can put in an application. We have tentatively scheduled our first in-person mixer for June 16th with Wild Souls Ranch, possibly with something with the rodeo board, which we were discussing offline. So we'll see. We'll have some more excitement, hopefully this summer than last. And next Monday, we welcome Ann Lindsay, no relation, from Life Care Humboldt, or Lifehouse. Yeah, Lifehouse? No, Life Care. Life Care Humboldt. I had it right. I wrote it down wrong, but I had it right in my head. And that's all I have. Thank you. Back to you, Kelly.
Perfect. Thank you, Renee. Do we have any announcements from any of our members today?
I was just going to say I booked on Avelo for the summer, and it was $136 to Burbank for 2. It's
awesome.
Really,
yeah, they have
all together.
Yeah, they have discounted rates right now, but then they get you with all the add-ons, so it's not just $19.
Seat, just go with whatever seat you get, and it's $10 to check in a bag each way. So, but yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah, super cheap. Yeah, let us know when's your trip booked for?
Middle part of July.
Good. Okay. Yeah, I think their discounted rates are going through September, if I'm not mistaken. I'm hoping to get Greg Foster from Redeck and Fly Humboldt as a featured speaker, and he can give us some more in-depth update on the airport.
I have a couple announcements, but a comment on the airlines and the airport. So listen up, supervisors, talking to you guys. We're going to start a Denver route where you're bringing in some planes. And I'm sure Greg has probably talked your ear about this, about the problem of not having much at that airport. We don't have a restaurant. We don't have any coffee kiosks. Ramones is out. We have one car rental. It's kind of a problem. They're hustling getting airplanes in here, but we don't have any services. And so I'm hoping that's something that's on your radar. I know it is, but I just thought I'd, just say something since we're talking about it. So, Rex, did
Well,
you
you
want to
can't have a
respond?
restaurant in an empty terminal. So once the people start coming back, we'll probably start seeing some interest again.
Okay.
Ramones might come back, or else we already have a space allowed for it. So
Right. Well, yeah. And we really want people to be coming in, with these cheap rates. So it's kind of important to, have the amenities, and also, we're hoping to maybe have a little visitor center or something to give people some ideas of what, to do if they're just tourists. So, okay, that's all soapbox. But now I got a couple announcements. Humboldt Sponsors is sponsoring a blood drive on April 28th. So if you're eligible to donate blood, or if you never have, come on down 4 to 7. We've got goodies for you. They'll take appointments. You can give anytime that day and just mention Humboldt Sponsors, but we've done it before and we've had fun just greeting some of the community people, not just sponsors members, but hoping that maybe that might be something that you want to do. So April 28th, 4 to 7. And then also with Humboldt Sponsors, we're doing an online auction of furniture and home decor. And it's through the Carl Johnson Company auction site. And so you can go on their website and see some of the fabulous furniture pieces that have been donated to sponsors throughout the year. And so some really fun pieces, some that you might want to find a home for. Well, I say a forever home. I don't want them back. So anyway, a little way of trying to raise some more money so we can give out to our local kids. So that starts this Friday and goes through the weekend. But you can go on the website of Carl Johnson and see the pieces. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Becky.
Did I make Rex mad? He turned his chair around. I mean,
Maybe
And
he's
do we
just getting more coffee.
yeah.
Do we have any announcements?
Food.
You're supposed to do.
Mike Johnson, do you want to talk about anything on your city council agenda since we're missing Merritt or Jeremy? Or, Mike
Yeah,
Wilson's popping in too.
I started to speak up and I was muted, so I had to go back and unmute. So, but we do have a council meeting tonight, and this is the large consent agenda meeting with all the department reports on it. But one nice thing of note on it is a letter of support for dedication for a portion of Highway 101 in honor of Ray Mills, an Fortuna officer that died in the line of duty. And business items, it's budget time, so we have a large amount of fiscal things going on. Public hearing for the fee schedule for community development, water, wastewater, and lab fees, a budget request, supplemental budget request for emergency repairs at the police department server room, which is really short named. There's a lot of things in there, more than just servers. There's almost all the communication items are in that room, and it's overheating. Also is a supplemental budget request to complete another phase of abatement on Acacia Drive, a construction contract for the percolation ponds at the wastewater treatment plant, MOU with Arcata and Eureka for allocation of the coronavirus CDBG funds, and authorization for addition of a recreation supervisor position and elimination of another position. And so it will be a full schedule this evening. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Any other announcements from members? Melissa.
I have one. Now that I officially own the journal, I am doing a reader survey. So if anyone would like to go on and take our survey, we're doing $250 of gift certificates and a $50 gas card throughout Humboldt County. We're going to pick a winner, and we just would love to hear everyone's comments about what they read or what they wish they could read, what they like, what they don't like. It's a wild ball of papers and pages to fill. So if anyone has suggestions on things that they want to read or anything, please speak up. Thanks.
Thanks, Melissa. I did my survey.
Oh, thank you.
I did too. I'm gonna win.
Yay.
All right. Any other announcements today?
Yeah, Bob, did you have an announcement? There he is.
Yeah. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to do a quick save the date for May 22nd. The Fortuna Sunrise Rotary is going to do a drive-through tri-tip barbecue and online bingo and auction. So it promises to be kind of fun and a fun twist on, all of that. So I'm looking forward to it. The prizes are going to be killer. There's some really nice packages coming together, and I just wanted to have you save a little bandwidth and a few bucks. Tickets are discounted since it's virtual, so it ought to be a fun, affordable gig to look forward to in May.
Thank you, Bob. All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest speaker today. If there's anybody else. All right, so Sean Todd, Fortuna Community Garden Project Coordinator from the Fortuna Adventist Community Services. So thank you for joining us today, Sean. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. I'd like to start just with a quick little icebreaker and ask what everybody's favorite vegetables are. Just go ahead real quick.
Ooh, should we do it in chat or just yell it out?
Cucumber.
Just yell it out. It's fun.
Brussels sprouts.
Mine too.
Please.
Cabbage and cauliflower.
Zucchini.
Garden ripe tomatoes.
Oh, thank God you're muted, Rex. I can only imagine. No, go
I
ahead.
only eat vegetarian cattle.
Very good, very good. Well, all of those things besides the cattle, we're able to do at the Fortuna Community Garden Project once we get everything rolling for this year. So a little bit of history. I'm sure you're all familiar with Steve Pilecki, our old community gardens coordinator. He had to leave us last year and move up to Oregon for bigger and better things. And I was a volunteer of his for the past 3 years. And he asked me if I would like to take it over. And I said, sure thing. I jumped on. And as soon as I jumped on, for some reason, the St. Joseph's Rectory decided that we were no longer welcome on their property. And so we were asked to relocate, and now we are moving onto Ross Hill Road at the Fortuna Junior Academy. The Adventist school was very gracious to share a portion of their playing field with us. We now have about a third of it, a little over a half an acre, which is pretty roughly the same as to what we had at our old site, which is cool. Yeah, we are really excited about this year. We have a lot of things going on. We've been hosting a lot of volunteer days on Sundays to get people out there, doing a lot of the big projects. We've had a lot of help from McLean Foundation and Redwood Capital Bank and other folks who have donated to us chunks of money here and there to get us going again. So that, huge thanks for that. Let me start. I can share a little screen of what we're kind of working on here with a little map, just to give everybody an idea of what we want this to kind of look like in the next 5 years. So can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Yes, okay. So here we have a little map designed by myself and a couple of volunteers that have been very ambitious about this project. It's very cool because a lot of the Adventist community have been wanting a garden at this school for the past 5 years. And so, you know, us kind of getting the boot from the old site was kind of a way for another door to open for opportunity to expand and to create a little bit more. So we have, so the road would be right along here. Ross Hill Road would be going down. And this is all like that. The field's still part of the Fortuna Junior Academy. But we have a little parking area. We're getting a driveway installed, I believe, around May 1st by Went Construction. And that will be right across from Atterbury Lane there. And so people will be able to pull up, park into their little spaces up here, separate from the school. And then they'll even have access to drive into the garden to bring stuff into the back, where we'll have areas for compost, wood chips, all that sorts of fun stuff. And then there's a little key here. So everything in the middle, these big green blocks, that is going to be where we are giving plots out to families once again. At our last site, a big thing that we were doing the last 6 years was leasing plots out to families in exchange for a donation for the water bill, because we were on city water at the time. So we totally intend on doing that again and getting families directly involved in growing their own vegetables. That's probably one of the coolest parts, I think, about this community garden and project, because we're one of the few in the county that operate like that. A lot of the other ones are more so a volunteer base for getting food out to people and stuff like that. But this, you know, provides families in apartments or, you know, low-income housing to get directly involved with growing their own food, learning about food sovereignty and organics and healthy living, which everybody has a right to do that. And then so we have a lot of fruit trees and things like that we intend on putting in the space to make it more of kind of a permanence thing. It seems like with this relationship with the Fortuna Junior Academy, we are kind of guaranteed a more permanent space, since it's two Adventist organizations working together now. So we're very excited about that. Yeah, there's a whole lot of details on here, and I would love to send this map to everybody on this meeting in an email or just share it some other ways, so that everybody can kind of get a better glimpse of it on their own time. But yeah, there's a lot going on here. We had our sheds moved, equipment moved, but pretty much everything is cleaned up from our old site. Just a few little things here and there. And yeah, we're just on Sunday yesterday, we were laying out all the PVC irrigation pipe that is going alongside the garden here to get water to there. And the cool thing about our water this time is that we will be hooking up to what is a natural spring on a parcel adjacent to the Fortuna Junior Academy that we have the water rights to in the deed. From when Mr. Atterbury donated the land to the Adventist, he said that that well down there that connected to that spring is theirs and they could use that water. So we've worked with the city already, I believe, in communicating about that and getting the okay to use that water. And we've just been updating the system and connecting it all up. And so we should have water shortly and a driveway, which means we'll be able to start giving tours to families throughout the week and see what the interest is, and start staking out some plots for some people. I'll stop that one there. I got a couple other ones I would love to share with you guys. And if anybody has any questions, please stop me. I know I kind of get on a ramble about this. It really excites me getting to talk about this.
Well, I live up over in that neck of the woods, and so I was driving to work one day, and it must have been Friday that you guys had already rototilled that piece, because it's right next to the academy, right? That plot of land that's right next to it. Yeah. And so I saw that.
Yeah, we put a fence right down the middle. That was like our first kind of condition with the school, is to put a fence completely separating the two sections of field. That way, you know, there's no confusion with the school and with what we're doing over there. And then that was what really got the ball rolling. That was back in December. And then we had some help from James Bear. He's with Eel River Hay and the Mennonites. And he came, really nice guy, and tilled up the whole field and spread a cover crop seed for us with some agricultural lime, and then a little bit of his own chicken manure that he donated. Really nice of him. But he worked all that in December and got that ready for us, and we let that sit. And then in the meantime, we were moving stuff. We had a team out there in February move about 30 blueberry bushes out there and get them all planted. So we're really excited about that. Those plants produce a ton of berries at our old site, and they look like they're gonna, they're not even gonna skip a beat this year. So that's exciting.
Hi, Sean.
But yeah, we just had it recently worked in again by another volunteer from Rio Del that tilled in all the cover crops. So now it's all looking nice and fluffy and fresh.
Yeah, that's what caught my eye. When you see the same thing over and over, you get sort of blind to it, but that is something changed. And I was like, oh, I wonder what's going there. And then, yeah, it's you. That's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see the constant changes once, families get their plots staked out and I do a big plot too for volunteers and then for the food banks and stuff. And just seeing how all that rotates and changes. That's the funnest part about a garden, is that it's never the same year after year. It's always changing.
Sean, I just said hi. This is Denise. So at the back part, you have a picnic area. That's kind of some area for storage, but also people could go and enjoy that area, correct?
Yes, that's another big thing with this site is it kind of seemed with our old site, the Catholic Church would have preferred us to be more on the lowdown and not to be advertising to a lot of people. It didn't seem like they wanted a whole lot of people back there, and that was one of the reasons why they eventually asked us to move on. But we definitely, with this, we're right alongside a main road now. We've had a lot of public eyes on us while we're working out there on Sundays, and a lot of people have been asking questions and are showing a lot of interest, which is really cool. And we definitely want to be able to open that to the public. There was a part in that map, I could pull it up again, where we're intending on building a interactive trail that will have a lot of native food producing plants and other species and flowers and stuff like that, kind of going along this edge where our neighbor is there. And so there will be like a little interactive path with signage, and we're working with Central del Pueblo and St. Joseph's Healthcare Paso El Paso program to get some Spanish signage too of everything for the Spanish speaking community. Because that was one thing with our old garden too, was primarily the largest demographic of people that used the community garden were a lot of the Spanish speaking families in the Fortuna area. So they're the ones definitely like, we're trying to target getting them involved, especially people who had gardens at our last site. We want to get them their plots first and everything like that, so they don't have to skip a beat. But yeah, just including it, being all inclusive, and then providing a little education on the native flora in our area and what is edible and things like that. But that path will be going right alongside a bunch of blueberries too, so that'll be fun.
So how many families can the garden host?
So at our last site, we had about a dozen, and we had a lot of space still. And at this site too, being roughly the same size, if we can get all of those families moved over there, there's still a lot of space. So, and a lot of them had different sized plots. Like I'm working on kind of getting a more concrete system for this, is providing a measurement of like a 10 by 10 space as like a starter plot for a family. Because sometimes some families don't want a lot, and some families or people are very ambitious and know gardening and want, twice the size. And so some people at our last site had that, and we would kind of just gauge it on people's interest year by year if they wanted to expand or felt like they weren't being able to grow enough, and provide a little comfort room, but provide like just that one base measurement first for people that are just getting into it. And then if you're an advanced gardener, making it bigger. But the people with the big plots, man, they use them. They crank a lot of food out on them, and we get a lot of food donated from those families too that we share with the food banks and such. And I'd love to share with you a little blurb just to kind of toot our own horn here of kind of a little bit of what we did last year with our harvest. So I don't know if you guys, can we all see the graph now on my screen? Okay, good. So this is a little thing I put together of our data from last year. And this, mind you, is only the amounts that I was able to keep track of. This doesn't totally include all of the vegetables that families were able to grow for themselves and what they shared with their families, their neighbors, their friends. There's just a very big, a much larger net of outreach that happens than just what I'm able to keep track of. But we grew just shy of, 3,000 pounds of food that was able to go to the different food banks in Fortuna. And this kind of shows you like a little bit of where, once I started taking over more full time, then we started to crank up a little bit more food. Steve was kind of in his process of transitioning out, so he didn't have a lot of stuff going on early in the season. But you can see we kind of spike up, and then in the fall it gets really high because of all those big winter squash that we were giving out. So that was pretty easy weight. But yeah, that's a lot of food there, and kind of to show you a little bit more where it's going, we have this little circle graph. So we originally, with sharing the space with the St. Joseph's Rectory there, we were giving a large portion of the produce to their food bank there, the St. Joseph's Pantry, and we totally intend on still doing that, because a lot of people rely on that food bank as well that can't make it to the Adventist food bank on the other days of the week. So we'll still be making drop-offs there. But a large portion of the food went mostly just between the two food banks, between the Adventist and the St. Joe's Pantry. And then we did some donating, a little special thing with the Open Door Health Centers. There was a case manager there who was delivering turkeys through the Betty Chin Foundation to families, and we collaborated and got him a whole bunch of winter squash and pumpkins that he was able to go and give out with the turkeys around Thanksgiving. That was cool. And then because COVID kind of messed up, even for some reason with the food banks, we saw a lot of low attendance of people showing up to the food banks, like regular clients and stuff. And so some of the vegetables weren't getting taken quick enough. And so we, as a rerouting, contacted the Ambrosini School, the elementary school there on Ronerville, and asked if they were interested in any veggies that the kids might like that they could pre-bag as like little snack bags or to send home with the parents as they came and checked their kids out. And so later on in the year, we started delivering a lot of green beans, peas, and apples, a lot of the easy fun stuff for kids to eat to the elementary school up there as well. And we'd love to, continue that as long as like the food continues to need another place to go. If it's not all getting taken at the food banks, we'd love to work with Walker Elementary too and the other schools to see what we can make happen there. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Just shy of 3,000 pounds of food. Again, that doesn't account for everything that the families grow themselves. I know for a fact there was one gentleman who had a big potato patch, and when he harvested it, he was giving out 5-gallon buckets of potatoes like candy to everybody in the neighborhood. So very, very cool opportunity that it brings the people there too to build community. And I have one more kind of thing just to kind of talk about money for us right now. So because we're moving, we are having to deal with a lot of new costs that were things that we had already had set up at the old site. Like we have to redo all of our irrigation setup now, which I had said we were doing yesterday. We have pretty much all of that covered. And this is kind of just a little bit of a budget I was working on this morning to give an idea of where we're at. And we're in the green, which is really nice to see that with everything going on. So yeah, so we have the money. It's just about getting the projects done now at this point so that we can open up and get families out there for summer planting, get their tomatoes and squash in the ground and stuff. And so there's a bunch of the different grants here that we've been receiving thus far since beginning our move and reaching out. So we have Redwood Capital on there and Coast Central, St. Joseph's Healthcare. They So Open Door Health Centers and St. Joseph's Healthcare both had community organization plots at our old site where they grew food specifically for their clients to donate and such. And they really, with both of those organizations, would really like to continue that partnership and support us. And so St. Joe's was able to support us a lot in hearing out what we needed and everything like that, and adjust to that. And then they also want to hire on a second staff support that is bilingual to help with the Spanish speaking families. Because unfortunately, I took French in high school, and it's probably one of the biggest mistakes of my life. But yeah, so we're super grateful for those community partners. Everybody is really excited to see us continue this project into the next year and to see where it grows. And
I have a quick question about that, Sean. I have a question.
Okay,
about
what's that?
the staff, the bilingual staff person. So would that be someone just for Fortuna, or would it be somebody just working alongside you in different capacities?
It would be more so for just like the Fortuna Garden. They would be working beside me, but also more directly with a lot of the Spanish speaking families, just in any way that I can aid support because of my inability to speak Spanish fluently. And St. Joseph's Healthcare already had someone in mind. They have a volunteer, her name is Jackie Gutierrez. She worked at Shake Fork Community Farm for a few years. She's very involved in agriculture and is very passionate about working with families in Fortuna and getting people into gardening and stuff. So she's been coming to our volunteer days on Sundays and helping out, and has been awesome to get to know. And we would love to have her as a part of the team. And so a part of the St. Joe's funding was specifically to be directed towards her employment.
So Sean, with the plots that families are going to be responsible for, is there a way for the community to support those families? I mean, are you doing like adopt a plot kind of a thing? Like how does that all work if a family wants to take care of a plot? Is there a way for, like, let's say a business that wants to sponsor a family, they can help with the cost of seeds and all that kind of stuff? Or is that all through your organization?
I'd say most of that is run through our organization. I have been, since taking over my first year, I really focused on trying to get more seeds and plant starts and fertilizers directly to the families and such. Whereas I felt that Steve prior to me was more so focused on just letting the families have a space. They do it themselves. And then he does all the stuff with the volunteers that goes to the food banks and stuff like that. But I just saw it as we had a lot of money still before we were asked to move, that, you know, I saw that we needed to spend down, and I really wanted to focus a lot more of that funding on making sure the families have success too, because yeah, I mean, I know what I'm doing, and I know how to garden cheap and everything, and I want to make sure that a lot of people have the resources that they need, and we all have equal opportunity to grow our own food and eat healthy. But with the plots, like, so at our old site too, we just went based on like a donation for the water to cover it. And we were, you know, the water bill was only ever over $100 for the 1 month in the middle of like the summer into fall, you know, it was never, and then the rest of the year, it's almost like nothing. So it was like a really low cost for families. And this new site, because we're working with this natural spring now, we're not paying city water, but we have to pay electricity to be able to get it up there. And so we're thinking we might ask for like a cost of like $15 to $20 a year. I know that's what the Garden of Eden up in Eureka was doing, something like that, where it was like a really low cost, like $20 for like the whole year. And then you could have a box or a plot, whatever it is there. Yeah, and so we're still kind of gauging on that, because we don't know what the power usage is going to be, because we haven't had all that hooked up yet. But soon we should have a better idea. Once the driveway's in, I really would love to set up a date. I've been working with, again, Central de Pueblo to get together like a day to have families come out and see it, and then, you know, maybe gauge interest on if they would like to stake out a plot and be able to come back and begin working it, that kind of thing, as we do the last finishing touches to get all the water set up around that. But the sooner we can start getting public, you know, involved out there and seeing it and what we're about, and if they're interested in a plot or volunteering to grow food for the food banks, you know, there's a lot of opportunity there.
Awesome. Any questions for Sean?
I was wondering if I heard him mention the Garden of Eden and the box program. Is there any thought of doing something like that where you could be a sponsor and get a box during harvest season? Is anything like that on the horizon?
Are you mentioning like more so like a CSA program?
Yeah, that would be close. Yeah.
That would be a really cool thing to do. I'm definitely interested in that because I think it would be a great way to raise money with some folks that would like to maybe donate a portion of money to get like a 10-week little CSA box of what we have available. I think that would be a great way to raise money for sure. Yeah. So definitely like in the future, that is something that I totally see doable. There was mention before from someone else of why don't we try to like do that same kind of thing at farmers markets. And I just feel like that might be a little bit stepping on people's toes because we are grant funded, and you know there's a lot of farmers that are doing it so they could get by and continue to do it. So in that way we're lucky, and we don't want to step on anybody's toes. And so I'd have to reach out more with local farmers too to gauge an interest on that. But I doubt the CSA would be much of a problem or too much competition for anybody. And again, it probably wouldn't be as crazy extravagant as some of the CSAs that some of the amazing farms we have around here crank out, but it would be food, and you know it'd be local, and it'd be grown by volunteers and stuff like that, and the money would go towards just keeping us running and keeping the families involved and everybody else. So yeah, I love that idea though. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not available. I mean, I don't know of anything close around here where we'd be stepping on anybody's toes, really. So it might work.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not in like the town of Fortuna, I guess. There's really not any like farm directly in Fortuna, but there's a lot of like the farms surrounding that will come to the market when farmers markets come back into season. Yeah. So yeah, I think that could work. I would love to look further into that. This first year obviously is going to be a little rocky for us because we're, you know, just rushing to get all of it put together and whatnot, and get everybody who was involved back into the new space and get their plots going. But there's just a lot of opportunity for growth at this site. And you saw with our map what we envision it, you know, and that's 5 years down the line. And St. Joseph's Healthcare wanted to know what we thought it might look like in 10 years and how they can continue to support. So there's a lot of interest here in keeping this going. And again, I would just like to say I'm very grateful for being able to work amongst all of you in Fortuna and get this going for people, because there's not a lot of like those kind of opportunities in Fortuna, and in the town surrounding there's a lot more of that kind of thing going on, but in Fortuna that I felt like that was always kind of missing, and so it's cool. Very cool.
Real quick question.
Yes,
do
please.
you offer tools for your plats that people can borrow while they're working out there? Or...
Yeah. So yeah, we have like we only have 3 sheds right now, but one of them was a designated communal shed where we had a combo lock on it, and we gave the combination out to people upon signing our contract and everything. And yeah, people can keep their tools in there. We you know, I just recently went through and did inventory and restocked on some new tools and stuff like that too that I felt like we needed. So yeah, we do have a pretty well stocked like communal tool shed for people to use. So that's really cool. I would love to show just real quick a little brochure that we have put together. And it is a lot of old pictures from our old site, but it just continues to show just who we work with and all the good that we kind of do. So there's a little pizzazz in here. A lot of pictures of plants and such. This was a woman's corn that she grew. This was seed that she brought from Mexico 5 years ago and has been saving the seed every year since. And the corn has gotten taller and bigger every year. So that's pretty remarkable to see people getting involved with seed saving. That's another big thing too, is we're really big on the education of just being able to do it sustainably. How to not buy your seeds from the garden store and how to, continue to do it year after year on your own resources. So we have a little bit of stuff on CalFresh, some logos of our various partners we've worked with in the past and currently, and just a lot of fun pictures of people getting involved in the garden. Steve Pilecki had set up a homeschooling group with a couple of local homeschools around the area, and we had kids involved in the garden, growing their own veggies, carrots and stuff like that, potatoes, all the fun stuff. Yeah, just a bunch of fun pictures showing people getting involved, growing food for themselves or to donate.
Send me that and I'll print some out and keep them here in the office.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love
Okay.
to. I have a whole bunch printed out too. So I could always drop you off some, but happy to send this by too to anybody interested. Same with the map too and everything.
Yeah.
To get an idea.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah, is there any other questions that anybody might have?
Yeah. Final questions before we let him go? Great. Well, we lost Kelly. She's having internet connection issues at her bank. So I will, on her behalf, say thank you, Sean, for being here. I really appreciate you coming in and updating us. Denise, Marshall, thank you for the tip to get connected with Sean, because I think it's a great project. I'm super excited to watch it since it's in my neighborhood, so I can just, as I'm driving into work every day, check it out and see what's happening as it continues to grow over the next year. It'll be really exciting. So thank you, Sean, for being here. Thanks everybody else for being here. We will see you next Monday at noon for Life Care Humboldt. Everybody have a great week, and don't forget to watch your city council meeting tonight and the board of supervisors tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye, Renee.